Hi, my name's Jill. I'm 32 from Portadown and I've been going to R8 for about just over a year now. Growing up as a child, I was always brought up going to church every Sunday, but as I got older, like most 17, 18-year-olds, I started living life my own way and going out every weekend and stuff, which never really fulfilled me. But when I turned 23, I found God again, and a few years later distractions started to creep in, and before I knew it I was living life my own way again, stopped going to church even though I still had my faith and I still believed. I was just living my own way and not God's way. It wasn't until a few years later when a hard time hit, when I lost my best friend. She was my rock, and I remember blaming God for everything. I was so angry with him, and all I kept asking was, why God would you let this happen? I didn't want God, but I was so angry. I was so angry with him, but I kept on searching for him. I kept on reaching out to him for answers and for comfort. A few months later, my mood started getting lower and lower, and anxiety crept in. The anxiety was crippling. I was always living in fear, always afraid of something happening to someone else I loved. I didn't understand what was going on. I'd never experienced anything like this before. So over the space of the next few months, I had got myself into a really dark place. I had started beginning to feel so overwhelmed, and I knew I needed to do something. I knew I needed God, but I didn't know how to make the next steps. I kept putting things off until one day things got so bad that I knew I needed to put my feelings and my pride aside and let God in. I was always drawn to R8, it was always on my mind, and that weekend I plucked up the courage and went to church. I dragged my mum along with me, and I was so nervous, my heart was beating out of my chest, but I also felt a sense of release because I was finally surrendering. I was finally saying, God, I need your help, and I knew I was going to get his help. So I remember that first night, the first song that was played, the worship leader stopped and started praying for anxiety and depression, and my mum actually turned around and looked at me to make sure I was still there. Even she knew that God was in it the whole time, and this is where I was meant to be. I'm so thankful for a loving God that has accepted me. Most importantly, he met me where I was at. I didn't have to change how I was feeling or what I was going through to go to church. I showed up broken and worn out, and bit by bit he put the pieces back together again. Not every day is perfect, but I can rest knowing that he is with me every single step of the way, just like he is with you every single step of every day.